Yep.
That's a
I know.
big deal, though.
We were talking around today about all the things we can move.
Has the mayor sent out the IGA to the county?
Figure out a way to.
You get a call and see if you're gonna be here.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Handle it for ourselves, but
Yep.
Probably like it.
so we know where to look if we ever.
Well, yeah, I didn't
I
read
assume we
it.
could just move over,
I
right?
think a lot of people are coming down with illness and stuff.
I've had
I would
moderate,
first
and then I
call.
emailed you right after.
The order of the November 28th, 2023 Public Services Committee meeting. In the absence of both our chairman and vice chairman, I will be running the meeting, but obviously I will not vote, even if there is a tie. Madam Clerk, roll call to establish a quorum, please.
Alderman Sherry Pickering, Eve Ludwig,
Present.
Tricia Teague,
Present.
Robert Williams,
Present.
Darren York,
Present.
John Cooper,
Here.
Rick Streebing, 5 present.
5 present, we do have a quorum. You have before you the minutes of the October 24th, 2023 meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Just a voice vote,
Sorry.
Mayor.
All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. You also have an agenda this evening. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. Madam Clerk, do we have any audience comments this evening?
No, we do not.
Okay, all right, thank you. I'm not the chairman, so I don't have any comments, except I would just remind everyone that our Night of Lights Parade is this Friday at 6 o'clock. Hope to see you there. We have tons of great events. If you're a music lover, at 6 o'clock, Northridge is going to be doing a program to welcome their new music director. They've also invited community members to sing songs, so I will be singing Mary Did You Know if you'd like to come and check us out. That's at 6 o'clock. And at 7:30, you have 2 awesome events. One is the holiday concert put on by the Symphony Orchestra at Danville High School. And then the Fisher Theater will also be having the Letterman at 7:30. So for those who say there's nothing to do in Danville, well, I would beg to differ. You have also before you this evening the payrolls from November 22nd. Is there a motion to approve those?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion on the payrolls? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering, Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, the motion carries. You also have before you the vouchers payable for November 28th, 2023. Is there a motion to approve those?
So move.
Second. It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Cooper,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering, Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, the motion carries. At this time, we will receive our city clerk's report. Mrs. Monson.
Thank you, Mayor. I just wanted to let everyone know we've sent out the semi-annual liquor license renewals and our taxi cab renewals. And those will be due the middle of December and expire the end of December. The staff is continuing to work on Citizen Serve software for the new business licensing software, as well as working with Mayor and Council Simon on the liquor ordinance rewrite. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Any questions for our clerk? Seeing none, community relations, item 9A is a resolution approving the application to the Saucony Run for Good Foundation for the Saucony Run for Good Foundation grant. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Unfortunately, Ms. Greer is out with illness. I would be happy to answer any questions you all might have. I can give you a brief synopsis if you'd like. Essentially, this is a grant application for $10,000 that would help offset costs for our Night of Lights run. I mean, not our Night of Lights, our Glow Downtown run. And basically, anyone who's 12 and under would be able to register for free and also get, goodies and free T-shirts and things like that. So basically, it would make it so that anyone 12 and under in our community could participate, whether they had funds to do so or not. And there is no matching requirement. Any questions? Vice Mayor.
I don't actually have a question on this specifically, but I do have a question on, I'm curious as relates to community relations and whether or not we should be getting a monthly report from community relations like we do the other departments.
I would be happy to have that happen.
Okay.
Absolutely. Any other questions? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering, 5 yes.
5 yes, the motion carries. At this time, we will receive our finance report. Comptroller Massey, any items of information?
Good evening. In your packet, you have your risk management and monthly personnel report. Are there any questions on either of those?
Comptroller, any items of information?
I was waiting to make sure. So we are busy in our division working on the annual budget process. Obviously, open enrollment just ended. We do have the elections back, so we're busy plugging those into the budget to see how that has a financial impact, and I'll have that for you next week. Working on the capital plan to roll out to you next week as well, in addition to our regular duties. Are there any other questions for finance? Thank you.
Thank you, Comptroller. At this time, you have before you 11A, a resolution approving the application of to Office of Illinois State Fire Marshal, OSFM, for small equipment grant. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Any questions for Chief Marcotte?
Just for you guys' information, that grant requires no matching from the city, so it's 100% funded from the State Fire Marshal.
Thanks, Chief.
We'll be seeking gear, clothing, just for reimbursements.
Any questions or comments? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Teague,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering, Ludwig,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, the motion carries. Chief, do you have any items of information?
Not a whole lot. Most of the October was wrapped up with just finishing all the fire prevention stuff. Training was a little bit down because of most of those activities. We did have our first civilian fire death in last month. The firefighter did enter the home, rescued the lady, got her out, and she lived, and then unfortunately succumbed to her injuries a couple days later. So, as tragic as that was, the opposite side of that was we had a story from Terre Haute where a family from Danville was over there visiting their grandparents, and they smelled smoke. And they sent the kids out, the grandkids out, and they went around the tree, and the girl found the meeting place, noticed the roof was on fire, went back in, got the grandparents, got them out, called the fire department from a neighbor. And when they were done, she said that was from a fire prevention class she had that we hosted at the Legion this summer. So the Terre Haute Fire Department's given that family an award over there for the kids for doing that thing. And it was kind of neat just to have our guys hear that the stuff they did paid off for somebody in real life. So it was really nice.
That's awesome.
That day that they did that class, she could remember some of the firefighters. Was a 105-degree day where nobody really wanted to be there and things. So it was nice to have that kind of come back that actually mattered, down the line. So that was neat. So other than that, unless you have any questions, calls are about the same. We've had a few here lately. Seems to be either people trying to keep warm in vacant structures or something like that along those lines. But we're still under on fires for the year, over on calls for the year. So still climbing for calls, total calls. But no fire truck yet, sorry. We are told graphics are being put on, and that's just what we're waiting to hear. So.
Any questions for Chief Marcotte? Thanks, Chief. This time we will receive our Human Relations report. Administrator Finch.
All right, good evening, everyone. The office handled 11 complaints for this period of October 17th through November 20th. New complaints were 3 police complaints, 2 housing complaints, and then for the old cases, we have 5 employment and 1 public accommodation. So complaints have decreased, but the work has not. So anyway, I do want to report, first of all, do you have any questions regarding the complaints? Okay, moving right along to the DBE workshop, I just want to mention that it was a success. We had 17 people to attend this workshop. The biggest problem with becoming DBE certified is completing the application. So that's why we brought in a presenter to go through the process with them. But the good thing about having the DBE workshop is that it's not over with. You can still call the presenter. If you have any questions about completing the application, you can still talk to her. I like the way she presented the application. Our vice mayor was there, and she didn't make it seem like it was a lot. You didn't think so? Okay.
No, I mean, it is a lot of materials that you have to gather, but she didn't make it seem like it was a difficult process.
Right. Yes.
The application by itself looks extremely difficult, but by the
Yes.
time she got done with it,
it didn't seem as difficult.
Didn't
So
seem
it was good to have her here to present the process to them. So, and again, if you have any questions in trying to complete the application, you can call her and she will help you.
for free.
Yes,
And for
yeah,
free.
good
That's the
point,
most
for
important
free.
point.
And that's definitely good, it's for free. So we were real happy about the workshop, especially our director, DMT Director Lisa Beeds, as well as the vice mayor, and then our mayor was also there. We really appreciate his support and our vice mayor's support. Also, we're getting ready for the MOK program. As you see on the report, the application for the MOK scholarship is due December 8th. So basically, our students, high school students, have about a week and a half to get the application in by December 8th, by 4:30 on December 8th.
4:30
At
on
4:30,
December
yes,
8th.
yes, 4:30.
We
And-
always seem to have a little trouble with that, but you know, it's important that they learn the significance of deadlines. So
And I also tell them, if you're gonna mail the application, it needs to be here again by 4:30 on December 8th. So hopefully we'll get a lot of applications. I do want to mention, that, again, we're not having the banquet this year. People are still not comfortable with this COVID starting to spread again. So we're just gonna go with the service on that Monday. And it's gonna be actually held on Dr. King's birthday, which is January the 15th. And it's gonna be, again, at St. James at 11:30. You'll get more details about it in January. I want to mention that we're gonna be honoring our former chairman, Mrs. Mary Thompson, at the service. So hopefully we'll get a lot of people there. You know, she's, some of you know her situation, and I'm
Some
not going
health
to say what it
challenges.
is. Yeah, what it is, but she has served this community, and hopefully we'll have a lot of people there to show, because she gave us 30 years, I believe it's 30 years of being the chairman of the MLK committee. And without her support, I believe that the celebration would not have been as great has been over the years. So, because she was about bringing the community together, we worked together. She was definitely, it was hard at times, but we got through it, and she just deserves to be loved. She deserves to be loved by this community. So hopefully everyone would be there for that. I believe that's all I have.
thank you, Administrator. Any Vice Mayor?
I have one question. Do we put, information like the MLK scholarship on the city's Facebook page?
Yes, we do. I sent it to Ashton Greer. It should be on the Facebook page. I asked her to put it on all our social media outlets. So I'm not
Okay.
a social media person, so I do know how to go on Facebook. As far as the other media outlets, do you know if she's put them on there, Mayor?
I'm not sure, but I'll follow. We can.
And the
follow up
reason
tomorrow.
why I asked that is because obviously the parents aren't at school to hear about applications, but parents are on Facebook. And the parents, I see lots of different other scholarship things being shared a lot by
Okay.
parents.
Okay.
And so I want to make sure that
Okay.
this is being shared widely wherever we can share it widely, so that we make sure that, students
Okay.
are applying, and that parents specifically are making sure that their students apply.
Well, that's definitely a good point. So I wanted to make sure, so I did send it to Ashton, and she said she would share it. So,
Okay.
hopefully the parents have seen it on our Facebook page as well as the other outlets. I do want to mention that some of the students do wait until the last minute. So even if they see it by Friday this week, or maybe Monday, Tuesday next week, they're still working hard to get it in. So it's still not too late. The biggest thing that they have to do for the application is writing an essay. So everything else they have to get from like their counselor, their their transcript, all that has to come from someone. So it's just putting that essay together, and that's really the biggest hurdle that we have, is getting our students to write an essay. I don't know why, because when I was in school, we had to write essays all the time, but this is a new generation. So hopefully we'll get a lot of applications.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item 13, Information Technology, Administrator De Silva.
Thank you, Mayor. Should have all received a monthly status report to the email. Do you have any questions on the report or any items? If not, I have a couple of updates. First one, some of you may already, received a notification or some sort. When you log into your Outlook, authenticator request pops up. So that is something Microsoft is doing by default, and the deadline is December 31st. So if you see a pop-up that says you need to sign in, and you can give us a call, we can help you download that Authenticator app on your phones, on mobile devices, and that will help you secure the email system. So the reason they're doing that is, it was optional so far, but Microsoft is kind of tired of getting hacked, and they want to make that default anymore. So you're going to have, just like any other place, you have to show 2 forms of ID. This will be like 2 forms of authentication that you have to access your email system. So another thing is some of the aldermen already brought in their laptops for updates. So I kindly request, if those of you have not done it, please bring those by end of the year so we can update to the latest version of Office and get you the greatest, latest and the greatest on that. Other thing is we're still working with AT&T on the final piece of the puzzle, which is porting the numbers over. We tried that in October, but it failed due to some technical difficulties with Comcast. So we're trying that again in a couple of weeks. So once that's done, then we are completely done with our Comcast account. That's all I have.
Vice Mayor.
Do you know, or can you research if there would be an issue with Authenticator if you already have Authenticator? Because I already have Authenticator for my business.
You
So
can use the same one.
I can use it. It won't
No
matter that
problems.
it's a different email.
No.
Okay,
You can
perfect.
use the same Microsoft, as long as it's Microsoft Authenticator,
Mhm.
you can click the plus sign and scan the new QR code, then it'll add it under the same Authenticator.
Okay, perfect.
Vice Mayor, I'm glad you understood what he just told you because I did not.
And since I have the mic right now, I'm scrolling through the city, because I follow the city's Facebook page, and I do not see anything about the MLK Scholarship.
Okay, we'll make sure that it's posted
Okay,
tomorrow.
thank you for letting us know that, because the deadline is next week,
Right.
and I was gonna send her some information to post it to make sure that they meet the deadline. Thank you.
Very good. Any questions for Administrator De Silva? Thank you, Administrator. At this time, items of information, Legal Corporation Counsel Simon.
You all have the reports for October and year-to-date in your packet. Basically, same activity. But legal department has been very, very active. We always are active, but very active. Our rental registration portal, online registration through CitizenServe, went live last Monday. There have been a couple of glitches that we're working through, as anytime new software for an organization comes online, but I consider it so far a pretty good rollout. We've had a number of people register online and others who have come to the office to register with Becky and Karen, because they have software licenses to run the registration, and that's been going well. They've got a learning curve too, because they're not used to this particular software. Last week, we got our rental registration renewal notices out in a day and a half, including emails, and it took maybe 15% of the time that it has taken the last number of years, at least since I've been here. So we have saved a tremendous amount of time with that. We're hoping more and more people will use the online portal, but we think some people will be somewhat intimidated by it. If they really look at it, it's not that difficult. They will have to provide certain information, especially if they sell their unit and aren't going to register because they no longer own it. We will know who bought it, and we can contact them to make sure they register. We're still working on improving our property maintenance code software. We had a major change that CitizenServe has never dealt with before. We had to pay some extra money for it, but the Google Maps, if you've used Google Maps here in Danville, it's not all that accurate. Some of our inspectors were experiencing being off by as much as 7 blocks. So we've asked them to delete the Google Maps part of their software and install our GIS, which consists of, I believe, 7 layers. And it's taken them a while, but today, I guess I'll call it beta testing. So our inspectors are supposed to be testing that, and there'll be some glitches. But along with that, one of the things they discovered was a way of having more boots on the ground, longer. Well, not more, 8 boots, in fact, because there are 4 inspectors, but for more of the day. What we're doing now is, rather than filling out the whole property maintenance code violations on the CitizenServe software using the tablets with cellular, connecting to cellular, because some parts of the city have better cellular service. So they may sit as much as 15 minutes in front of a property they're writing up, and that shouldn't happen. It's not their fault. That's just the way the cellular system's scattered throughout the city. But the other problem is property owners come out and start questioning them. What are you doing? What is the city doing? Why is this truck parked in front of my house? What are you doing to me? You know, those kinds of nervous questions, and we fear for their safety. So what they're doing is kind of going back a little bit to old school, where they will take a picture of the violation or multiple pictures with their tablets. They maintain a log of the address and the number of pictures they took, and they code the pictures so they can match the pictures up with their written log. They then come back either at lunch or later in the day, and they download it into the CitizenServe, because that's wired, and it goes much, much faster. It may take less than a minute in some cases, depending on the complexity of the violation and all. So that's working well. We are starting to look at the 2021 property maintenance code, because along with Logan and all the building and the other codes, the city is updating those codes to the 2021 editions. We've been working with, and I believe Logan has too, with the 2012 edition. So I think it's, 11 years, I think, or so. It's time that we at least come into the 20th century, if not the 21st century. What that will involve in the final end is they will go through the books, and they will go through chapter 167 to match up what that chapter says, because you all over the years have made a lot of changes or exemptions or not adopting, enforcing certain provisions in the International Code Council book and doing something the way we want to do it in the city. We're going to do that, and then that is going to, the ordinance is going to be presented to you at some point in time in the relatively near future, next couple of months, Logan, would you say? And it'll be a red line, so you will know what's added, what's deleted, and all. Let me give you a good example. The new code, I believe, requires that all new construction, either of a certain square footage or a certain price, have sprinklers. Sprinklers, if you've ever dealt with them, are extremely expensive to install in a residence. And so my guess is they're going to delete that. It may already be deleted in the code, but that would be a typical example of a change.
Yeah. Corporation Council, yes, we've exempted it in the past, and we intend to as well.
Just quickly, the building side, our goal is to have early December all the markups on adopting the 2021 ICC codes. From our end, things like electrical, plumbing, those are state codes, state laws, so it's more of residential and commercial building codes, and mechanical. Those are the two big ones. Accessibility, energy code, things like that. And just as a side note, this is not something that we can choose to do or not. If we have a national disaster right now, or any major disaster for the community weather-wise, we will not get any relief from federal or state funds because our building codes are so far behind. That came from a conference from the ICC Council that the building inspectors went to this year. So that's whenever we said, ding, light bulb went off, it's time to update the codes.
Thank you, Logan. As City Clerk Monson indicated she, Rachel and I, and now we're getting the mayor's input into our liquor ordinance. What our goal is, the three of us anyway, Rachel, City Clerk Munson, and myself, is to have, I'll call it a good draft. And then what we're going to do is lean all over the mayor, pass it on to him and say, please review it as fast as possible. We would like to get this presented to you all, and probably, we haven't discussed this with the mayor, and probably the Public Works Committee as well. It's a long ordinance rewrite, complete rewrite, different organization and all, and we're going to ask the mayor for his comments. We're going to incorporate those comments and changes. He's done some already and all, and then we're going to try to circulate it at least a week ahead of the meetings. So you all will have a lot of time to look at it, and then the goal would be to have it approved possibly at the last council meeting in February. Pretty tight schedule. Obviously, everyone's busy working on everything all over the place, but that's our goal. Alderwomen Teague, Pickering, and former Alderwoman Brown have been working with me on a rental registration rewrite. We're in fact, the four of us are going to meet tomorrow, and hopefully,
Said maybe if she's available.
Alderwoman Pickering is sick, so maybe not.
Oh,
That's what
then
she
maybe
said.
not. But in any event, we hope to come up with a final draft out of that meeting. Again, I will have the mayor look at it and make his recommended changes in it, and that'll come to you. Also, I have worked on a partial rewrite or substantial amendments to the rental, to the vacant building registration ordinance. Things that have come up with the citizens have triggered ideas in my mind, and I will run that by the mayor. I'd say it's 90% done. And finally, Tim has provided an amendment to the toter ordinance that shifts the responsibility for toters from tenants to owners, because our inspectors are having a very difficult time finding tenants, knowing who the tenants are, because we don't get a list of tenants from rental registration or any source. And tenants come, tenants go, and really the dispute over how a property is taken care of or managed is between the owner and the tenant, not the city and the tenant. So and the violation efforts are between the city and the owner. So that ordinance is already in the Public Works, just because it's Public Works type ordinance, in their agenda for their next meeting. And that pretty much concludes it, unless you have any questions.
Vice Mayor.
My one question is, when you brought up the reporting and the inspectors taking photos of the property to then come back and complete the reporting, do the property owners get a copy of those pictures as well when the violation goes out? I was just curious.
No, they
No?
do not. I don't believe they do unless Tim has changed how we do it. Tim, when the violation citations go out, we don't also attach the pictures to it, just the citation and warning letters, right?
That's correct, because generally, we don't even physically print out the pictures.
Right.
Unless the case is heard at a trial.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be, because we'd be printing out
They-
thousands of
Okay.
photos.
Yeah, they are required to take pictures, and a lot of them, especially with property, how can you dispute it when when we tell them we have pictures of it? A lot of them enter plea agreements
Okay.
and all.
So we always have pictures.
We always have
Okay.
pictures, usually multiple pictures.
Okay. That was my only question. Thank you.
Thanks, Vice Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Corporation Council. This time before you, we have item 15, Chief Yates. We have 15A, a resolution authorizing the purchase of police department vehicles and disposal of unused vehicles. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Alderman Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering, Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, the motion carries. You also have before you item 15B, a resolution approving an intergovernmental agreement with Danville Community Consolidated School District 118 for school resource officers, SROs, and budget amendment for fiscal year 2023-24 General Fund 001 Police Division and 021 budget. Is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved in second. Chief, would you want to give them a brief overview of what this is?
Yes, we do this,
Your mic.
I'm sorry. We go over and review the MOU and the IGA every year with District 118 in regards to our school resource officers, SROs. It's been brought to the attention of the school board as well as the faculty and then on to the police department that they're requesting a fourth SRO for now. That there's speculation it could be more later on based off what the board and the community wants. But our problem is that we're not in a position based off the community goals and objectives that we have to take from our manpower. Therefore, we had discussions and agreements and they agreed to pay 100% for an officer as well their salary and benefits for the entire year. Right now, they're paying 3/4 and we pick up the other 25%, but we also use them in the summer whenever the kids are out, which oftentimes that's some of the only times they can take their vacation. So it's limited what our benefit is on there. However, this one will be 100% funded by District 118. My concern, and the reason why there had to be a budget amendment is in case we are able to get a a lateral experience officer hire, we would probably be able to do it earlier than what we can because the arrangement is we're going to hire, we are going to train and certify, have an officer certified at PTI or the academy. Then they have to go through an additional 17-week period after they get out of the 17-week training with PTI. They go through our in-house 17-week, and then the District 118 will get a veteran officer that we all go through the interview process and they'll get them. So we're hoping to have one to them by August or September. And we can afford to go down, when I say afford, not monetarily, but operationally, to 68 officers and still maintain what we're trying to do temporarily. So because it's going to take us we're going to need to hire one more because I can get through that later, but that's essentially what the MOU, the biggest difference is that they are going to support 100% salary and benefits of that fourth SRO. Also, my concern is I don't think there's anything worse for whether it's a police department, fire department, or any other city department or private business is layoffs. If we were ever to find ourselves in a position or the school was to terminate the agreement, what do we do with that 71st officers if we don't have it within our budget to maintain them until attrition takes care of it? So we extended the agreement to where there has to be an opening through attrition or a period of time before they would stop funding that officer, even if they wanted to terminate the agreement on that fourth. It was just a safety net I wanted in there. And they agreed.
I really appreciate your efforts, Chief, to make this possible and also to make sure that we have security nets for our officers as well and as part of it. Any questions for Chief Yates? Yes, Alderman Cooper.
Let me get this clear. They're paying for one 12-month salary on a police officer, or are they paying for all four?
They're paying for 3 of them 75%, all salary and benefits. And I can't remember if there was anything else, and overtime that's generated through any type of school function or an event that happens while they're working. And that's spread out over 12 months. The fourth SRO, they'll be paying 100% salary, benefits, and overtime generated for any duties or responsibilities involving District 118.
So if they need any additional more, is that what type of contract we're going to pursue on that?
It will be my intent.
Vice Mayor.
Would this fourth officer be available to us in the summer as well, like the other three, or no?
That would be at the prerogative would be District 118. But it's my projection that we'll have an agreement that will benefit both the District 118 and the citizens of Danville, which is essentially the same. I mean, all of our students at District 118 are part of the community as well. So we're hoping that even now, if they need someone during the summer, we'll send them over. And then if it's just for a spot, for a need that they have, it balances out. And then if we need them, it balances out. But those are little sub-agreements that we have.
Okay.
Mayor,
Yes.
Alderman Butler had a comment.
Oh, yes, Mr. Butler.
Yes, that fourth SRO there, will he be, what school will he be at, or will he just be a floater, he or she, I'm sorry?
It's in the MOU, but I believe they will be at Southview. And then there'll be a floater, there'll be two at Danville High School, one at Northridge, one at Southview, and then there'll be a floater to, from Danville High School to KDBA. But it's in agreement. I think it's on one of the last pages. That was my understanding.
Alderman Butler, do you have any other questions?
No, that's it, thank you.
Anyone else?
And again, that would be at the prerogative of the school to make those assignments, but anytime there's a change like that, the superintendent's office and John Hart and my operations command have a very good open discussion and communication means.
Any further discussion or debate? Seeing none, roll call vote, please.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Streebing, Pickering, Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, the motion carries. Any items of information, Chief?
Yeah, we've got 4 officers still at PTI. They should be finishing around the 20th of December, be their graduation, and they'll immediately start their 17-week in-house field training program. We selected 4 candidates from the last group that we went through. They still are, they're given offers pending psychological and medical evaluation, and we'll release those names, but the swearing in should be that first Wednesday in January? January, yes. And then they'll be going the following Sunday, starting PTI for their 17-week training. That will put us at 70, and we've been chasing that for a long time. But, you know, again, I'll say that when you see a young officer that's been hired in the last 4 years, you know that they've gone through a lot of high standards of training, and they don't make it past that. And sometimes that's a challenge because we're going to make good investments on our department with personnel. But we're pleased with the 4 that were selected. Online reporting, I just got an email. I haven't read it all, but that process is nearing completion. I don't want to jinx the rollout, so I'll just say soon. And this will allow a lot of people that are just wanting to file a report at their convenience that doesn't really require a police officer. Say if my yard gnome was stolen out of my front yard or my Christmas lights, no ring doorbell, no suspects, no nothing. But they're on their way to work and they don't want to wait for the police to come around or to respond. They can go to work, and their next break they can jump on their cell phone or their computer and fill out the report themselves. Each of these reports are still reviewed by police. It'll go through patrol division, and then some will move up to investigations or get back to patrol division to send a patrol officer out to the scene just to confirm that that's all it is. So there's a lot of measures that take a long time to explain it all, but it'll be, even if we have I was figuring, even if it reduced calls for service by 2%, 2 to 3%, it'd pay for itself in matters of hours, especially when you consider we respond to anywhere between 34 and 37,000 calls for service a year. So, and plus it's first couple of years being paid by DCO grant. Let's see. Reference to DCO grant. Friendly Town, they started the work over there. If anybody's driven by there, the roof and exterior is being worked on now. As soon as spring and asphalt all opens up again, they'll be milling out all the old pavement, putting in new, and all the outside work will be done. As far as the training center over on East Voorhees, I'm sorry, we're waiting on a small little part. As soon as that's done, we have the other vendors and contractors ready to go. You have to get all your construction done before you can paint, and you got to paint before you put in the carpet. You got to put in the carpet before you put in the furniture, and put in the furniture before you put in all your technology. So we're meeting on Thursday, check the status on everything. Would give you give me another month and a half, and I'll tell you when it's going to be operational and there for y'all to check out. So we're very excited about it. All the major purchases are either purchased, invoiced, or ready to be invoiced. Problem is, a lot of the technology, you don't want to buy it and have it sitting in a box in some warehouse or some storage area for 4 months because your warranty starts ticking. So worked it out with Reality company for the VR system, and they're holding on to everything. We secured the price now, which is saving us about $40-some thousand, and then they will be bringing it as soon as I give them the call. And we have a phone conference on Thursday to set up some tentative dates, but it'll be as soon as possible. So
Really thank Betty Seidel and Senator Faraci for their help on that. Quite honestly, if they hadn't intervened, due to timeliness issues from the state and approval of it, we would not have been able to access that money. So I just want to thank them publicly again for their efforts.
And this is, like I said before, this is getting the grants one thing, implementing it and getting it to work under the conditions that it has to takes a team. And that team's not just in the police department. Again, this is a team we put together through Public Works and Finance with Grants and Kaylee. And it's been quite an undergoing, and getting us to all know each other and understand the levels of patience and everything that we don't have. We've been working pretty well together, so it wouldn't be done with all those components.
Thanks, Chief. Any questions for Chief Yates? Thanks, Chief. This time we have our Public Works report. Item 16A is a resolution approving the reimbursement of state funds due to overpayment from the Illinois Department of Transportation. Need a motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Yes, Alderman Cooper.
Why the huge amount? I mean, 19, you got a $35,000 overpayment, I guess.
Sure. So I think a lot of it goes back to we, per the grant agreement and state statute, undergo an annual audit every year of the performance period for Danville Mass Transit. But the quarterly reporting for the grants are done within 30 days of the ending period of the quarter. So just because we filled out the grant report doesn't mean that the ledger has been audited, right? And we've already all discussed our bank rec issues. So there may be changes to the ledger, which is what the original report is made on, after that quarterly report's done. IDOT does an audit to see if we've been over or underpaid. When you put those years together, the net is that we were overpaid, but there were some years where we were overpaid. We were overpaid. There were some years we were underpaid.
Yeah.
So that's just, and they're doing, I think it's like 4 or 5 years, I don't have it in front of me, that we're covering in this resolution, so.
Well, actually, doesn't it
Oh,
go back
7
clear?
years, so.
Doesn't it go back clear to 2014?
Yes.
13. It says 13 on here.
It's
I mean, that's 10 years.
FY year 14, but the actual year would have started in 13. Vice Mayor is correct.
Yeah, so fiscal year 14 through 19.
14 would be 13. Years 13 through 14.
Got you. That is the first day of the first fiscal year. Got you.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
And the reason we're paying it out of the general fund, this is a little technical, but just with the nature of the grant fund at the end of the year, if there's any excess funds, it is swept over into the general fund. And if there's any deficiency of funds, the general fund sweeps over into 113 because by the principles of the fund 113 must be at a zero fund balance at the end of every fiscal year. So it just makes sense that that overpayment was swept into the general fund, and that's why it's being paid out of general fund, if any of you were curious. So.
Do they check on this every 10 years, I assume, then?
It's supposed to be.
annual. Go ahead.
It's supposed to be more frequently than that, but here we are.
Any further discussion or debate?
Guess
I just-
better be quiet.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
So this is as a result of our audit, or this is as a result of an audit at the state?
Audit at the state, which they use the audits we facilitate with Clifton Larson to come up with these numbers. So.
Okay.
Any further discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Cooper,
Yes.
Strebing, Pickering, Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York,
Yes.
5 yes.
5 yes, the motion carries. If there be no objection, since they're for the same measure, I would like to take item 16B and C together. Item 16B is a resolution authorizing acceptance of Illinois Housing Development Authority, IDA, grant from Homeowner Assistance Fund Home Repair Program, HAF-HR. And item C is a resolution amending FY 23-24 budget and creating a fund for Illinois Housing Development Authority's IDA Homeowners Assistance Fund Home Repair Program Fund, HAF-HR. If there's no objection, I would entertain a motion to approve both.
There's a typo in 16C with the amount on number 1.
Okay. Is there, can I get a motion to put those on the table and then we'll address that?
Oh, yeah, so move.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. I'm sorry, Alderman York, you said where is this at? You
On
said
16C,
Okay,
just item number 1, it's just a typo of the amount of the grant amount.
Oh,
It's a, yeah.
just missing a zero.
we will, we'll correct that. It's just, thank
Okay.
you for catching that.
Just a minor typo, but it does change it.
Change things a lot.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments?
Well, just a question. Have the rules been made up on how we're going to disperse this and all that, or is this, we got the money and we'll do that later?
Yeah, this step goes first, getting through the closing process. This is to allow the mayor and the city clerk to sign the final documents, and then the rules will follow that.
Approximately when do you plan on having
Yeah,
them?
I hope the program rules will be out at the beginning of 2024.
Because we're waiting on the state for the rules that they have,
Oh, okay.
so, that they'll put forth for this.
So they've got all the guidelines and everything, apparently.
Yeah,
State.
there will be a plethora of guidelines provided for whom the city can support and what's eligible rehab items, things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Vice Mayor, did you have a question?
You already answered my question.
Very good. Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Strebing, Pickering, 5 yes.
5 yes, the motion carries. Gentlemen, do y'all have any items of information for the good of cause?
Yeah, I do. As of yesterday afternoon, we received the executed purchase agreement from the seller of the final residential property surrounding the Garfield Park project. That address is 824 North Griffin Street, 842 North Griffin Street. The reason for the holdup was there is a tenant in the home, and the city, we didn't help much, but we had to wait until a new home was found for the tenant to relocate to. So a deal has been struck, and with your blessing, I'd like to bring the resolution to purchase that property to next Tuesday city council meeting.
Any objection? Thank you. Sam, do you have anything for us? All right, thanks, fellas. You'll be glad to know that we do not have a need for closed session. Item 18 is a review of draft of the 2023 tax levy and budget. Are there any questions for Comptroller Massey? All right. Any items of information for the good of the cause from the committee?
I've got a question. It's something's been bugging me for a while, I guess. What's the status on renaming that building, Public Works Building?
Oh, it's already been renamed when you were still an alderman, so back in
Is there
2019.
supposed to be anything on it or sign on it or
I believe
anything?
there's something inside of the building.
Okay, so that's official then.
It's
Apparently.
been official for a long time.
What's the name of it?
The Scott Eisenhower Municipal Building.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that. Okay.
Shouldn't there be a sign on the outside?
Any other items of information for the good of the cause?
Yeah, I know.
Seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned. Thanks, y'all.